As your doula in this process, I want for you to make informed decisions. That's really the most important part for you to feel like you can advocate for yourself. I also want for you to get into the best possible headspace for birth, because at the end of the day, like, your body is the one that's birthing and your head is either going to be your friend or it's going to get in your way. So let's make sure that your partner and that you feel as prepared as possible for this experience. I'm so sorry that in this world, most of the time, people are going to be throwing so much at you. They're going to be telling you about their birth trauma or their birth experience, or like, oh, good luck, it only goes down from here, or, you know, all of the things that random person at the grocery store is telling you. So first things first, after you hear this, I want for you to create a bubble of security around yourself so that all of that unsolicited advice can just bounce off of you. This is your experience. This is your birth. This is your ceremony. When you grow a human, make a human, and then grow a human, and then birth that human, you as a parent, you as a mother are also being born. And this is a ceremony, this is a rite of passage that every single mother has had before you. Like, this is an initiation for you to get into. This is something that I've witnessed in Ecuador that they do in so many different ceremonies, and in Mexico, the way that they honor it, and in Tanzania, the way that they honor it. In our Western culture, we've just kind of forgotten how to honor the mother. So I really want for you to walk away from this remembering that this is your birth, this is your initiation into parenthood, and this is an incredible sacrifice that you're making with your body. So we're just gonna kind of jump around a little bit. But in order to prepare mentally for birth, I want for you to start right now, like today, as soon as you're watching this, I want you to start focusing on your breath, because your breath will be your best friend in birth. And so you can do this with me, or you can pause the video, but when you're taking breaths throughout labor, I want you to inhale through your nose and then sigh out exhales, like you're fogging up a mirror, like, and you can do that with your mouth open or your mouth closed. In yoga, it's called Ujjayi breathing. You inhale through the nose, and it slows down your breath and it helps you melt into the sensations. I feel like so many people go into birth with so much fear around birth, and rightfully so. The way that birth has been painted in our media and the terrible, terrible disparities facing Americans right now in childbirth is atrocious. And so of course you're gonna have fear going into it, but hopefully together we can work through a lot of that, and your breath is going to be your best friend. And so remembering that no matter what, even in the next months to come up until delivery or the next 50 years of your life, you can always come back to your breath. Your breath is your safe place, and you can do anything for one more breath. So you're riding that contraction, you're riding those waves, your breath is your best friend. Additional things to prepare you mentally for birth is starting to have visualizations of the experience. So right now, I want you to feel your baby. Put your hands on your stomach, put your hands over your womb, and feel your baby. And again, take one of those deep breaths. And I want you to imagine yourself on the other side of birth. So now you're home with your baby, and I want you to really think about this activity, like this particular exercise, as you're getting into labor. But think about it now too, because you can build onto it. So holding your baby, I want you to think about once you're home from either the birth center, the hospital, or maybe you are having a home birth. But you're home and you're sitting in the chair or on the couch, the area that you're probably going to do the most of the feeding in. And your baby is latched, and the afternoon sun is coming in just right. And you're not in pain, and it's all behind you. And there you are, as a parent with your baby, safe and home. And it's from that place of safety and that place of security, that I want you to backtrack on how you want to go into your birth experience. I want you to go into it with that same sense of safety and that same sense of knowing that everything is going to be okay, even if everything goes haywire, even if nothing goes according to your birth plan. You can still get to that point of you're home and you're with your baby and you're safe. And so now look around your house, find all the spots that you want to start building that energy around, and carry that with you for these next few weeks or month. I don't know how far along you are when you're watching this, but preparing yourself in that way. Other things to start thinking about is what you want to let go of going into birth. This is just Like I've been saying, birth is a ceremony. It's a time for you to honor you in this process. And so you can view every single one of those contractions, as something that is burning away a part of you that is no longer serving you. This is especially applicable if you have any kind of trauma and you're going into birth holding that trauma. Let those contractions work for you. Let yourself be reborn in the process. I think that so many people have so much fear around birth because they're scared of the pain. And rightfully so, scared of the pain. And me as a doula, I'm often my clients are in so much pain and I'm celebrating their contractions because your contractions are productive. And mama, that pain is your power. That is your force, and you are going to crush it. And so remember that every single time you're having one of those contractions and you're feeling these waves of intensity, those are your muscles pulling at your cervix. That is your power. That is your power. That is you. And then the most important thing to remember in that is that it is temporary. That contraction is going to last a minute, maybe a minute and a half, maybe 30 seconds if you're lucky, but it will pass and you will find a break. And so using each one of those as a step, as the initiation, as that sacred portal that is opening and letting you in and letting your baby out. This is such an incredible transformative time that if you can shift your perspective from, oh my gosh, this is going to be so scary and so painful to I got this. Watch what I can do. Watch me open this portal. Watch me birth this baby. You will go into it feeling a million times better. And if you're going into it and you want to have an unmedicated birth, you're probably watching this because you're trying to educate yourself. You want to prepare yourself for birth. If you want to have an unmedicated birth, you absolutely can. But there's also no shame in the epidural game. I think that in the West, because we have access to epidurals, it's this thing of I really want to have a great birth. I want to have an unmedicated birth. I'm going to try without the epidural, but we'll see. Epidurals are an amazing tool. And I think that there's also a misconception about doulas that we're oh no, it has to be hands off. It's no, epidurals are an amazing tool. I've seen some of my clients go from a closed cervix to 10 centimeters in 2 hours thanks to an epidural after laboring for 15 hours and making no progress. Sometimes you need that extra help to let your body relax. However, if you are really wanting to go into it without any kind of epidural or medical intervention, remember that the majority of the women around the world do not have access to epidurals. And they go through birth, they birth their babies because they know they will. They know that they can. They just show up and they birth their babies. I see this in Tanzania every single time. The strength of these women is incredible. They just show up and birth. They're also laboring, but they labor in silence. We have this idea of birth that's been painted to us in the media that you're going to be walking through a grocery store and your water's going to break and you're going to be screaming and you're going to be wheeled into a hospital and it's going to be chaos. And the majority of the time, birth is really, really gentle. So in the next chapter, I'm going to walk you through what to expect from birth, and we're going to go through labor stations and how to prepare for the big day.